So here at the Global Manufacturing and Industrialization Summit, we try to capture the trends that we're seeing today and see how they will apply to the near and medium-term future. Our guest here in the fireside chat brings forward a great deal of experience in public policy, economic development, and now as president of Armenia, he's a specialist in computer modeling, studied at Yerevan State University where he was a professor and carried that experience to the University of Cambridge. He's the longest serving ambassador to the UK for Armenia, served as prime minister, and since April 2018, serving as president. President Sarkisian, it's great to have you here at the GMIS. Welcome.
Well, great to see you again, John.
My pleasure. We often talk at the GMIS about the fourth industrial revolution and the components of that, but you're thinking we have in the 21st century entered a very different stage. Rapid revolution, and there are going to be waves of it. Can you describe how this will apply to the global economy and manufacturing supply chains in your view?
I think the short answer to your question is that it's not only about revolution, the world has changed dramatically. We are going through a phase transition, a big phase transition. I mean, the world has dramatically changed. If we go back what Professor Fukuyama was saying about the end of the civilization, probably he was wrong, but he was also right, and he was right. The history of the previous civilization has come to an end. We're entering a new civilization. I am calling that civilization, or the new age of our development, the quantum world. A world, if I make it very, very simple, a world where the individual, or quantum, each particle, each individual becomes very powerful. A world that small can be not only beautiful but also powerful. From that point of view, if we look at the Industrial Revolution, and I would say that, yes, historically we had the first Industrial Revolution, then development, then another Industrial Revolution, then another evolution, and so on and so forth. But because we have accumulated so much knowledge and new technology, what is going to happen now, after the fourth will be the fifth and the sixth and the seventh, and one after another in very short periods of time. So I would rather call it not sort of a fourth industrial revolution, but we're entering the new age of rapid evolution. Not revolutions, rapid, but rapid evolution. So revolutions will follow one after another. There will be industrial, there will be scientific, technological, and as a result of that, will be permanently in a phase of change, feeling of instability, maybe, but also a great new world that we are entering. So maybe Fukuyama was wrong, but I think he was right in the sense that that civilization was over. We are in a new civilization now, starting from the beginning of the 21st century. Of course, what we are using that is the accumulated knowledge of science, technology, and the results of our development that has been occurring from the previous centuries, especially the 20th.
Let's apply this to Armenia, a population of roughly 3 million people, highly educated as well, specialists in technology, artificial intelligence, engineering. How do you prepare your society and the best role for Armenia in this context in which you're speaking?
You know, the answer to that is, I will take that question in the perspective of today. Today is not only we are facing the rapid change of the world and the technological change, the behavioral change. What is changing is also our values and how we are applying our basic values. Look how we are going to exercise our basic values of human relations or democratic values. I mean, years and years ago, the democracy was exercised through elections once in 5 years' time, and those who were winning the elections were responsible and were accountable to people coming to meet those who were electing them once in a year or writing an article in a newspaper. Today is daily, because most of the politicians are on Facebook or on Twitter. Basically, it's a daily relation between the voter and those who are elected. So this is a very, very simple example that this is a new world. It's a new world where democracy is exercised every day. So before going forward worldwide, we have to rethink about this new world. We have to revalue our basic values, and of course be very, very careful what we are doing. I think the important word here is heritage. We have inherited from the previous century, especially from the 20th century, international institutions, relations like United Nations. I think it's very important that we keep United Nations, but we do an audit of the past decades and think how we are going to use the same institution like United Nations or European Union or Eurasian Union or other organizations in the new world of quantum, where individual becomes very powerful. Very important. I think my advice to my colleagues at the United Nations would be, it's the time that we rethink globally about our international or global institutions by keeping the good and thinking how we have to change something in these institutions to adjust them to the future. That's for the world. Now coming back to Armenia. Your question was about Armenia. How do we adjust Armenia? Armenia is a part of the world. It's affected during the coronavirus any other country. We are facing the same challenges ahead, but the solution to the future is to be at the avant-garde of the future, not at the back of it. If the human societies are like a train, I'd rather be near the locomotive rather than at the back of this train. And in order to achieve that, obviously I have to do a lot of hard work and I have to invest a lot in the future. And the solution is pretty simple. It's the old, very well-known solution. I think you invest in education, science, and technology. What's the future is investing in education, science, new technology. And that's why, as a president, I have an initiative which is overall called ATOM, Advance Tomorrow. So basically, let's go to tomorrow. And it has different components, basically creating joint ventures with world-known companies on artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is the future. In new technologies in bio, that's another thing. And then organizing international conferences like Summit of Minds or Star Moves, bringing international known scientists, researchers, big companies to Armenia and helping Armenia to boost it into the future. I hope and I believe that it is possible to make a small country an advanced one. And this is 21st century, this is quantum world. And we have so many examples from Singapore, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Israel, Luxembourg, and other small states that have been smart, and they have different resources of income, or they have different strength in their economy, but they are using this strength in all of these countries have something which is they have in common. They are one thing in common. They are investing in science and technology and education first. So that's the path to the future.
Great. Mr. President, I was just asking you to keep your answers a little bit shorter because we have about 5 minutes left. Okay. And they'll edit that part. I'm going to pick up here. So let's try to keep those answers to 90 seconds maximum. In this drive, who are your natural partners as a small country? Because geographically, you sit almost at the crossroads of Asia and Europe. Who do you see as the partners to leapfrog the ATOM initiative here for the future?
So natural partners are everybody, is the whole world. I would like to bring the technology from United States, from Europe, from Asia, from the north, from the south. And that is why I'm also focusing on something with an initiative which is called a Club of Small and Smart. I've been speaking to leaders of several successful small states and advocating an idea that we should create a club. This is not an alliance. This is not an international organization. This is not for something or against something. This is just a place that we come together with the same countries that I mentioned to you, for example, can be from Asia to Africa, the same Singapore, the same United Arab Emirates, the same Qatar, the same Rwanda, Luxembourg, and sharing with each other our experiences. What is that we have done right and what is that we have done wrong? So a club that will help the small, because small, as I said, could be very powerful as well in the 21st quantum world. Simple example, go back 30 years ago, who could have imagined that small state or states from the Gulf can send their scientific equipment to Mars? Unimaginable, but it's reality today. So there is a new world opening for small and smart states, and I want to make Armenia one of them.
We met over the last 15 years, and it was kind of the rebuilding after the fall of communism and the lowering of trade barriers, and then we saw the internet revolution. A lot happened in that period of time, and there's now a backlash against globalization. As a leader, what would you encourage now so we don't throw up barriers, tensions between the US and China and other states around the world, so we don't lose what we gained over the last 60 years and build for the next half century?
Well, I started speaking about that, and I'm really concerned. I'm concerned with many things. As the president of the country, I'm concerned with the status of tourism in my own country, which is highly touristic country. This is Armenian national tourism. There is religious tourism. Armenia is the first Christian state in the world. There is ethnographic tourism. There is a food tourism and ecotourism in Armenia, but coronavirus. Coronavirus, as I was saying initially, is a consequence. It's not the reason of the changes that we see around. We have coronavirus today because the world is interconnected. We are traveling very fast in huge numbers. We are concentrated in big cities. So there are all the conditions ready for a virus to be spreading very fast. So coronavirus is a consequence. It's not the reason of change. It has just reminded us that the world is changing. Now, because the world is changing and we are realizing that the world is changing, there is this feeling of uncertainty. It's a crossroad. We don't know where to go, to the left, to the right, with whom, with two or with one. Is this world singular polar or is dual polar or many polars? Where to go? So the feeling of uncertainty is there. And I'm concerned there because during the times of uncertainty, if you lose your common sense or your human dignity or your humanity, it's very easy for you to become xenophobic. It's very easy to blame others for your failures. And I see now in this world problems that are occurring because we are in transition. In my own experience as the President of the Republic just recently, while Armenia is fighting coronavirus and our neighbor Azerbaijan is fighting coronavirus, Azerbaijan started on the border with Armenia a military activity. And where is our common sense? And it concerns me as well because our other neighbor, Turkey, has come out with a very strong language and rhetoric, and that concerns me as an Armenian, as a president, because it takes me back 105 years ago when the Armenian genocide happened in Ottoman Empire. And it gives me more concern because some Azeri officials were speaking about bombing the Armenian nuclear power plant, which is unheard of. And at the end of the day, if you bomb a nuclear power plant, it will not hurt only Armenia, it will hurt everybody, every neighbor that we have around, starting from Georgia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, up to the Gulf. And that will be another Chernobyl of the region. I think my hope is during this transition, which is going to be difficult, from the old world to the new world, we don't lose our common sense. And we behave like humans, focusing on the future and valuing what we had created before. That's why I use this word heritage, because United Nations is a very powerful and very valuable heritage that we have now in the 21st century. The only thing that we have to do is to strengthen it and give new meaning to this wonderful organization that had played very, very specific and useful role during decades. Destroying what we have achieved and forgetting our heritage is the wrong way forward. I mean, the way forward is thinking about the future and basing that on our successes and achievements and our heritage.
One final question on that thought here, then. How do you close the gap between the developed and the developing world? There's been over $10 trillion of stimulus, but are we not acting collectively to get through the COVID-19 crisis, in your view, where some states are kind of left on their own?
Well, developed and underdeveloped, again, the solution for me goes back to the same solution. For any developing state, I will bring you an example, John. If somebody lives in a poor family, and if we are parents of that poor family and we have many children, and we have some income and some money, where do we invest our money? In buying a bigger flat? Or buying another car? No. We invest in our children. Because that's our future. We give them good education. In a decade or two, these small boys and girls that we have there will grow up and our family will be bigger, richer, because they will reach success. If we buy a bigger flat, we will stay there as poor and our children will not get education. The solution is the same. It's education, culture, science, technology, engaging them in the future world, which is quantum. And there are so many opportunities for them. Because we just see it every day that one man or one lady first and then one man can achieve great things by their power of their thoughts or of their energy and their devotion. That's why this world now is full with young people that they still believe. They believe in the future in a form of startups because they have seen so many examples starting from Bill Gates up to Mr. Musk today. I mean, who could have imagined that 10 years ago that the private company will not only launch someone into the space, but will think about going to Mars. And one action has created the whole environment that worldwide people think that, well, Mars is our neighborhood, it's done. We have this feeling. We started believing that we can do it. And that's through efforts of individuals. So this is a world, quantum world, where individuals can make it, and it doesn't matter where the individual comes from. Does that individual come from Africa, from Latin America, Asia, Europe, or anywhere? So invest in education, science, and technology. Make your country a real member of the international family in the quantum world. That's the message.
Good to see you, and thanks a lot for your analysis today. It's great to see you. President Armեն Sարգսյանn joining us from Yerevan.
Well, thank you very much, John, and it was great to see you again. I hope to see you soon at our Summit of Minds that is going to happen in October.
Okay, thanks again, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Nice compliments, and it's great to see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.